So sometimes when I meet a dog for the first time, or any animal, but even horses, but usually dog, I like to kind of grab them by their face like this and get my eyes right into their face and just kind of hold them and stare at their eyes for like a minute. You know, maybe not a minute, but whatever amount of time. And I think it's so funny because they suddenly change. They suddenly change after. They suddenly they love me after, and I think I always thought it was just a fun, magic little thing to do. Um, but I was wondering scientifically, why does that happen? Because if you've ever looked into a dog's eyes like that, you can see the universe. You could see their soul. You know what's going on. You can tell everything. Um, so I looked it up. Right, I'm like, why scientifically is this the case? And it's a couple of reasons. One is that mutual eye contact, especially between with mammals, right? With these mammals, releases oxytocin, which is like the love hormone. Um, so it literally activates like a bonding state, and you are literally, both releasing oxytocin and both kind of loving each other, through the eyes for that second, which I think is really sweet. And I think it makes a lot of sense. And it calms you both down. Allegedly, it definitely calms you down, and it just having that eye contact where you're really both just staring at each other, grabbing them by the face. Um, you're in love with each other. Um, Humans, of all animals specifically. Now, this is just talking about the human side of things. We have this hypersensitivity to eyeballs, eyes, faces in general, specifically eyes. I think everybody knows, even children. You see, anything, any three lines resembling two eyes and a mouth. You see a face. You see a face out of everything. You could put a personality on anything that looks like it has eyeballs. You see car headlights. It looks like eyes. Are they eyes? Not even close. There's just two things on the front of the car. But to a human, that's an eye. So us humans, we are hypersensitive to eyes, and we can really look into them and tell what's going on. And the thing with animals, right? Animals have a very pure, very large pupils, very pure face, very big eyes, that they're in tune with their body that they are their body still. Us humans, we're kind of up in our head. Um, and these animals are not, especially dogs, and you can tell a lot by the way their eyes look. And humans have, as I said, they're in their head. We're in our mind. We have all these facial muscles and all these mind games. We can make all these expressions. We can do lots of things. Um, we can deceive. We can broadcast. Um, little micro signals. We can dominate submission, all that, just through our eyes. And dogs and just other mammals in general don't have all that stuff that humans have in their eyes. They have a less complex, like facial microsignaling, at least to my understanding as a human being. So when I look into the dogs of an eye, I see something. The eye of a dog, I see something pure. I see something different. I see its soul, and I think to a point you can do that with humans. To a point, I can. A person lets me, I grab him by the face like this, and I stare at him, and I can tell you exactly what's going on in their head. Maybe not, because humans can purposely be signaling something other than the truth. But with a dog, I do that, and suddenly there's bonding. Suddenly there's understanding. I was told by a man who trained horses once that he learns everything he knows about communication, even with people, from working with horses, because he said with animals and people, and especially with the ones you think won't understand, that's not the case. Okay, every animal wants to understand. Everybody wants some level of understanding, and as long as you're willing to work with them, and willing to you yourself understand the signs, you can meet them at some level of understanding and come to some type of bond. And that's what this is about. This is why I can see and you can see, the universe in an animal's eyes. You can see their souls, and it's one of the best things. It's real magic.